In February 2026, Sam Altman of OpenAI admitted something that changed everything about the AI layoff story you have been hearing. He said it directly. There is some AI washing happening. Companies are blaming AI for layoffs they would have made anyway. This week alone, Snapchat cut 1,000 workers and cited AI. Disney cut 1,000 workers and cited restructuring. Meta is preparing to cut 8,000 workers. 79,000 tech workers were laid off in the first quarter of 2026 alone. Of all those cuts, only 48% have been attributed to AI and workflow automation. But the official data tells a different story. In January 2026, the United States recorded its highest monthly job cuts since 2009. Of all those cuts, only 7% explicitly cited AI as the reason. The overwhelming majority were attributed to restructuring, cost optimization, and market conditions. So who is telling the truth and who is paying the price? Look at Disney. Variety reported the cuts were primarily driven by a reduction in Marvel Studios films and the formation of a new consolidated marketing division. AI was not the cause. AI was the convenient narrative, and Disney is not alone. A study of nearly 6,000 executives across the US, UK, Germany, and Australia found that nearly 90% said AI had no impact on employment or productivity over the past 3 years. Average AI usage among those same executives was just 1.5 hours per week. The question this raises is the one no earnings call will answer. Are these companies cutting entry-level roles because AI can genuinely replace what those workers do? Or are they using AI as cover for cost-cutting decisions driven by overhiring during 2021 and 2022? Whether the cuts are genuine AI displacement or AI washing, the people bearing the cost are the same, not the executives making the decisions, not the investors celebrating the efficiency narrative. The people paying the price are the ones who never got a say in the decision. For example, meet Sarah. Sarah is 23 years old, 4 years of computer science, strong grades, a portfolio of projects built during late nights and weekends, because every career advisor, every tech company recruitment drive, and every headline pointed in the same direction. Learn to code. The future is digital. The jobs will always be there. She graduated in 2025. She applied to 140 companies. She heard back from 9. She got 0 full-time offers. She is not a cautionary tale about a bad student or a wrong major. She is a data point. And the data tells a story that most business media are not covering. In 2025, the share of unemployed Americans who are new workforce entrants hit a 37-year high. Computer science graduates now face a 6.1% unemployment rate, higher than philosophy majors, higher than art history graduates, higher than journalism majors. The degrees that were supposed to be the safest path into the future are now among the hardest to translate into employment. According to Randstad's Global Workplace Blueprint, entry-level job postings have dropped 29% points since January 2024. For the first time since the pandemic, there are now fewer jobs available than people looking for work. The Stanford Digital Economy Lab analyzed payroll records from millions of workers across thousands of companies. Since late 2022, the exact moment AI tools entered mainstream use, employment for software developers aged 21 to 25 declined by nearly 20%. In the same period, employment for developers aged 35 to 49 at those same companies grew by 9%. The companies were not eliminating software development. They were eliminating the entry point into it. Think of it as a career ladder. The experienced developers at the top still have their steps. The mid-level engineers in the middle still have theirs. But the bottom steps, the ones where people like Sarah were supposed to start, have been quietly removed. And without those first steps, there is no way to reach any of the others. But here is where the story gets more complicated, because the productivity gains that justified laying off workers have not arrived. The Cognizant chief AI officer admitted publicly that it will take another 6 to 12 months before companies see real productivity gains from AI. So, the current job cuts may not be directly related to actual productivity improvements yet. IBM surveyed 2,000 CEOs and found that only 1 in 4 AI projects delivers the return on investment it promised. Companies are cutting the people. They have not yet captured the productivity. They are placing a bet on a future that has not arrived. And an entire generation is paying the price for that bet today. And the bet may be more expensive than the announcements suggest. AI tools are not free. Enterprise subscriptions, API usage, and compute costs add up quickly at scale. Some analysts are already asking whether the economics of replacing junior workers with AI actually hold up when the full token and infrastructure costs are accounted for. A junior developer costs approximately $100,000 per year in total compensation. An AI coding tool used intensively across a development team can cost tens of thousands of dollars per month in API and compute fees alone. That is before accounting for the time the senior developer requires to review and correct what the AI produces. Uber is one of the clearest examples of what this looks like in practice. In December 2025, the company encouraged its 5,000 engineers to adopt AI coding tools, particularly Anthropic's Claude Code. The company went further to even build internal leaderboards ranking teams by usage to drive adoption. But by April 2026, Uber's chief technology officer, Praveen Nepali Naga, made a public admission that stopped the industry in its tracks. The company had already exhausted its entire annual AI budget, just 4 months into the year. His exact words, "I'm back to the drawing board, because the budget I thought I would need is blown away already." Uber spent $3.4 billion on research and development in 2025. It still could not anticipate what AI tools at scale would actually cost. The savings are narrower than the headlines suggest, and in some cases they may not exist at all. Before we continue, in our last video we showed you how the AI replacement experiment is already backfiring, with 2/3 of companies already rehiring the workers they fired 6 months ago. The link to that video is in the description below. This raises a question that most companies are not asking publicly. If AI tools cost more than projected, who is actually saving money? If they still need experienced workers to supervise them, where do those experienced workers come from? And if they cannot replace human judgment and accountability, what exactly is the business case for eliminating the entry-level roles? One company did ask that question, and the answer led them in the opposite direction from everyone else. IBM, a $240 billion technology company, announced it is tripling its entry-level hiring in the United States in 2026, not reducing it, tripling it, and specifically including the software developer roles that every other company is eliminating. IBM's chief HR officer explained the reasoning directly at a conference in New York in February. The companies that are going to be the most successful in 3 to 5 years from now are those that doubled down on entry-level hiring in this environment, not the ones that held the status quo or reduced it. IBM has rewritten its entry-level job descriptions. Junior developers no longer spend their time on routine coding. They oversee AI outputs, engage directly with customers, and make the judgment calls that no AI has yet learned to make reliably. IBM's calculation is straightforward. Companies that eliminate the entry level today will face a catastrophic shortage of experienced mid-level workers in 2030. The pipeline problem does not appear on this quarter's earnings call. It appears 5 years from now when there is nobody left to promote. Sarah eventually found work, not in software development, in a customer service role that did not require her degree. She is one of the 41% of recent graduates currently working in roles that do not require the education they spent 4 years and significant money to obtain. The career ladder has not disappeared, but its bottom step has been removed, and the people standing at the base, like Sarah, have no way to reach the steps that remain. Here are the questions worth sitting with. If companies are cutting entry-level roles based on AI productivity gains that have not yet arrived, what happens to the generation that graduates between now and when those gains actually come? If the pipeline that grows experienced workers is being severed at the source, who trains the senior developers and managers that every company will desperately need in 2030? And if one company, IBM, can triple entry-level hiring while every competitor is cutting, what does that tell us about whether this wave of job cuts is actually about AI or actually about cost? In our next video, we will look at what is powering this AI revolution, not in code or algorithms, but in electricity, in power grids, and in the bills arriving in homes near every major data center. We track the warning signs that move before the headlines do. If you want to see them before everyone else, hit the subscribe button now. And if you found this video helpful, like and share it with your friends. Thank you.